The June Community Day has been revealed to be Deino. Saturday, June 25th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. local time. Dinos will be spawning in the wild. You'll have an increased chance to get the shiny. It's going to be fantastic. And during this time, and up to 5 hours after the 2 p.m., you can evolve Zweilous, Deino's evolution, into Hydreigon, and Hydreigon will know the special community attack, Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing is a dark type charge move that has 65 base power in both raids and PvP. So how good is Brutal Swing, and what does this mean for Hydreigon? Well, we only know the power. We don't know the energy cost or the animation time. But we do know the power, and knowing the power, for PvP at least, we can assume that this is going to be a Surf or Drill Peck clone, because it wouldn't make sense for it to have a higher energy cost. Then it would just be significantly worse than like Foul Play or Crunch, and then if it had a lower energy cost, then it would be like crazy more powerful than Body Slam. So unless they're looking to ramp up the power creep, or unless they're looking at giving Hydreigon a super stinker of an attack, I think we can assume that it's going to be a Drill Peck slash Surf clone there, which isn't bad. That's actually a pretty fantastic option in PvP for Dark type Pokemon. Right now, Dark types are basically hoping and praying that they either get Crunch or Night Slash when they get released. Dark Pulse is, not the greatest, and then Foul Play is just Crunch, but without the debuff chance. So having just a solid, good, powerful, decent energy cost Dark type attack, I think a lot of Pokemon are going to appreciate that going forward. So what does this all mean for Hydreigon though in terms of speculation? Well, I can let you know how good it might be in raids and PvP. When it comes to raids as a dark type attacker, under the best case scenario, which is Brutal Swing being a full Drill Peck clone, Hydreigon will stand to be the best non-mega, non-shadow, non-legendary slash mythic dark type raid attacker. So pretty good. It's able to outpace the DPS of Weavile, and then it also has significantly more TDO. And then it also has dragon type resistances piled on it too, so it could have even more, bulkiness in practice. If you're not familiar with these spreadsheets here, DPS is how fast you can beat the raid boss typically, and then TDO is like generally how tanky you are. It stands for total damage output. So high TDO means you're you're in for the long fight, right? And then DPS to the third power times TDO is just a general metric for a Pokemon's overall goodness. And then you can see here too that when it comes to that metric, it does actually edge out Darkrai, of course assuming that Brutal Swing ends up being a Drill Peck clone. So it could end up being a bit worse than this. Personally, I feel like if it does end up being a little bit worse, I think we'll still be a little bit ahead of Weavile in terms of DPS, but of course we're going to have to wait until we get the data mine to figure that out. And unlike PvP, it is harder to guess the utility of, charge moves just based off their base power, because you also have to factor in the animation time too. So I'd say overall things are looking up for Hydreigon. We could end up getting disappointed still, but I'd say things are looking pretty good for Hydreigon here. Then when it comes to the PvP side of things, this doesn't change anything for Hydreigon at all. It's got Bite, which isn't exactly a fantastic move for PvP. Dragon Breath is pretty good though, right? But when it comes to Hydreigon's other charge attacks, we got Dragon Pulse, which is terrible, Flash Cannon, which is terrible, Dark Pulse, which won't be as good as Brutal Swing and is also a dark type attack. So without that being fixed, nothing's really changing for Hydreigon in the meta. That said, Brutal Swing is a pretty fantastic dark type charge move in and of itself, so tons of Pokemon will love receiving it should we ever get a, move pool rebalance or move pool shakeup in the near future. So I think a lot of Pokemon would appreciate it. We also have this awkward situation again, sort of like what we had with Dusknoir and Dusclops, where the pre-evolution would actually really appreciate and be more meta with the big evolutions move there. When it came to Dusknoir and Dusclops, Dusknoir got Shadow Ball. Dusclops is already actually kind of good in Great League PvP, and if it got Shadow Ball, it would be a lot more formidable than what it is now. Might be a little bit more of a household name, but only Dusclops got the Shadow Ball, unfortunately. And Zweilous. Zweilous is always kind of on the cusp of the Great League meta. It definitely suffers from being doubly weak to Charm, much like Hydreigon does here too. But when it works, and it mostly uses Body Slam, but having a low energy cost, better than Dark Pulse, dark type option along with Body Slam, I feel like Zweilous would really appreciate that. Will Zweilous get it though? It doesn't appear so. But I guess it kind of makes sense if you know about like the Pokemon's names, right? Their titles. You know, Hydreigon here is known as the brutal Pokemon, so brutal swing. Zweilous is only the hostile Pokemon, and there is no hostile swing in the Pokemon franchise. So unfortunately, I guess Zweilous is not brutal enough to get the brutal swing. And interesting note too, GamePress actually made a prediction on Hydreigon here getting brutal swing as an attack in the future. On its page it said like, hey, it's never going to make it as a dragon type. It could make it as a dark type. It just needs a little extra push. Maybe it could get brutal swing in the future. Well, here we are. Pokemon Go, taking notes from GamePress as per usual. And yeah, brutal swing. Finally on the brutal Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Then back to the event details here, you can see that they have the standard event bonuses, you know, extended incense, hatch distance, candy, XL candy chance, extra special trades, reduced stardust cost. If groups battle around a lure, Zweilous might appear around the lured Pokestop. We don't know if this Pokemon will or can even have the potential to be shiny, so I don't really see it as a bonus, but hey, why not? Whatever. But then we have the bonus raid battles after Community Day, which is pretty interesting. So basically, with this Community Day, from 2 to 7 p.m., there will be these special 4-star Zweilous raids that will be spawning. And if somebody beats this Zweilous raid, then for 30 minutes, there'll be Deino spawns, as they were with Community Day, with the shiny chance and everything. And but up to a 300 meter radius around the gym. And with this, you could possibly extend the Community Day for yourself, for your community, for whoever you're playing with, up to 7 p.m. So you could possibly have a 8-hour Community Day, which is pretty interesting. I really hate the 3-hour Community Day. I really like the 6-hour one because as a competitive player, to have like good odds of getting a good IV without using a scanner, you really need that extended time with the boosted spawns. You can learn more in my video where I complain about it, link up above and in the description. So 8-hour Community Day could be a bit better. The only real like apprehension I have with this is that it could be really goofy to pull off in some smaller communities. Like even thinking about like the cities I play in when I'm like serious about Community Day, will it be a hassle to try to chase these 4-star raids? Will we know what gym has the radius, and will the gym like tell us how long the timer is, or are we just gonna have to guess? Like, oh, party stopped, no more dinos. All right, where's the Zweilous, right? So it could play out like really clunky, really wonky. For like bigger cities, it'll probably play out super smooth. So we'll have to see how it goes. I do appreciate them extending the Community Day hours though, in some way. I don't know why we have to jump through these goofy hoops to do it, but I guess, you know, John Hankey says jump, and I guess we gotta jump. I'm glad for this Community Day that I'm not particularly interested in Hydreigon from a competitive standpoint, because I really don't know how to approach it. So this Community Day, I'll observe and see how this party goes down. And then for Community Days I care about, and if they implement this again, then I guess I'll have to figure out where I'm gonna play to best take advantage of this. So it's goofy, but hey, 8-hour Community Day, I'm here for it. So that wraps up all my thoughts on the Deino Community Day, the Hydreigon here. If you got any questions on this content, of course, comment below, let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, you want to see more like it, well, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. SwagTips. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these Patreon supporters. If you want to support Swagman on Patreon, link in the description.